a childhood condition that has confused doctors and confounded parents for many years. It's known as selective mutism, and it affects hundreds of thousands of kids who can speak perfectly well when they're at home, but can't talk at all when playing with friends or attending school. Good Morning America's Ann Plachette Murphy has more about one family's struggle with this disorder.
Imagine a world where anyone and any place outside the comforts of home elicits fear and anxiety so paralyzing you shut down and physically cannot speak. That's the reality for 7-year-old Morgan Gailey.
She describes it as the words get stuck in her toes. So it must be just nerve-wracking to not be able to talk when you want to.
But with her family, Morgan is a totally different child.
And I'm 7 years old, and my tooth is loose.
She's the loudest kid in the house, running around, you know. A normal kid, but very loud.
Pizza!
She's a chatterbox. She loves to talk. She loves to tell me about her day at school, all her friends.
Oh, this girl, there was attendant, she got stung by these bees, and the one girl got sick.
Morgan suffers from selective mutism, which according to a recent study is almost twice as common as autism. Unaware of this disorder, her parents initially saw it as defiance.
It's very frustrating because how she is at home and to hear that she's not talking in school, I thought she was doing it on purpose.
You feel really bad for yelling at her for not talking, to find out that she can't talk.
They feel afraid. Many of them say the words won't come out, their voice box feels like it's closing up, their stomach hurts, their head hurts, their body won't let them speak.
Dr. Elisa Chapon-Blum runs a treatment center in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania, where she's treated Morgan for the last 3 months. The doctor stresses that selective mutism is the result of extreme anxiety, usually in group settings or around strangers, but it is very different from everyday shyness.
The difference between shyness and selective mutism is ability to function. Shy children function. Children with selective mutism have a difficulty socially, emotionally, academically.
Morgan's mutism makes every class a challenge. In reading, she uses occasional gestures to communicate.
What do you think, Morgan? Point to it. Which one?
In art class, she may respond but can't ask a question or make her needs known.
How many eyes am I going to see? Rachel? 2. If I want more than one bird, do I want to make a gigantic face up here? No, because then I couldn't fit the other birds in.
The primary thing that you're working on in first grade and second grade is reading. And it's difficult to assess where she is in reading if she's not reading for me.
This widely misdiagnosed disorder is often ignored or dismissed as just a phase, leaving kids to suffer in silence.
Because if I ask you a question and you don't reply, Morgan, and you just sit there, I don't know what you're thinking.
The first goal of treatment is not to get her to talk, but to help Morgan combat her anxiety and begin to engage socially in nonverbal ways.
He's cute. Whichever one you want.
In a local store, we see improvement. Morgan hands money to the cashier, something she could not possibly have accomplished a few months ago. But when Mom pressures her to wave goodbye, Morgan shuts down.
Okay, thank you. Can you give him a hand twist, Morgan? Can you just wave to them?
Morgan still has a long way to go.
Okay.
Seen here on home video shot by her parents, she has no problem asserting herself with her siblings.
Don't take it apart! You don't know how to put it back together!
But on our visit with our cameras rolling, Morgan clammed up while playing with her siblings, and though she agreed to draw pictures with me, even simple questions elicited blank stares.
So do you want me to draw another kitty cat?
It is slow. It's small steps, a lot of small steps to equal one big steps.
Morgan's progress has been painstaking, but it hasn't dimmed her parents' hopes.
I say, maybe by the end of this year you'll be talking, and she just smiles. So I can see a difference in her like that. I feel like she wants to start talking.
You're going to read real hard words today.
And Ann is joining us now. When you look at this little girl, you can understand there's a paralysis of fear because you told me that, but she doesn't look scared.
This is a coping mechanism. In fact, the anxiety is dealt with by not speaking, so it reduces the anxiety. So you aren't going to see a child who looks terrified of being in the classroom.
Do they grow out of it?
Some of them will, but they will do that by developing other coping mechanisms and frankly being miserable. So, why have them go through that? Some of them will, but others will develop anxieties as adults that, again, are, really can be paralyzing and terrible.
But the way you treat it is to try to deal with the underlying anxiety, not with the speech itself, which is just a manifestation of that anxiety.
Exactly. You want to reduce the anxiety, you want to boost their self-esteem and confidence, and then you want to teach them some nonverbal ways of making their needs known and communicating. And last, hopefully the words will follow. But it takes a long time, so parents have to be really patient.
Do we know what causes it?
They don't really know, except that, first of all, there's a genetic factor. A lot of them have a family history. And they know that it usually happens when they are first introduced into a social situation, which is usually preschool or school.
All right. Anne Plachette Murphy, thanks.
Thanks.